is Valley News Live at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacey Van Dyke.
I'm Justin Betty, and that's Kellen Harmon. As you can see, some winter weather is beginning to move through our region. We're seeing some closures and cancellations start to roll in as well on this first alert weather day. The latest being UND in Grand Forks.
It doesn't look like a good time out there. Forecast
No.
details in just a minute, but first let's hear from Kellen on what's going on outside. Kellen?
Justin, Stacy, the word of the day has changed. Just an hour ago, I was saying it's a little windy, but we're not getting any snow, and now it is rather snowy, as you can see. I went from dreaming about playing golf sometime in the future this morning to dreaming about a one-way ticket to Tahiti. As you can see, this wind is flowing through here with these flags. The snow is just pelting me in the face. You can see it on the light here, or these lights overlooking Interstate 94 here. We're just off the Cheyenne exit here. It looks like just a wave, just a haze, just constantly dumping on Fargo here. And see plenty of cars going further out west here, so Godspeed to them. If you're thinking about, oh wow, I wouldn't mind going outside or driving my car, I would not recommend that. It's not nice standing out in here, but we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Kellen, for that live report. Get in a warm car, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As for what the weather has in store for the rest of this evening and tonight and tomorrow, here's First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch!
All right, thanks everybody. Indeed, things are deteriorating, and I just want to start out with the headline. That is, be where you want to be by around 10 o'clock tonight. Now, the snow is going to move through, but the worst of the wind's on its way. And we already have areas where the visibility is down to 0. Take a look at this. Frederick Highway 281. This is south of the Ellendale area on 281, and very difficult visibility. You can see snow covering the roadway there. Now, it's not impossible to travel on, but it's certainly tricky for sure. So completely covered roads in that James River Valley, Jamestown, south to Ellendale, and as you saw there, Frederick. The blue roads, by the way, are partially covered roads, and the snow is just making its way over the I-29 corridor. It's a first alert weather day today and through tomorrow. Blizzard warning. You've seen that crawling across the bottom of your screen. Here's the impacts. This evening, snow and wind gusting over 30 miles per hour. After 10, that's why I told you that, gusts will exceed 50 and approach 60 miles per hour for some. So dangerous wind chills settling in on the region as we head into your Friday. Again, the blizzard warning, Northern Valley through the Norman County area as well as Trail County. This does include Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, and Laredo, and then the western portions of Polk County, including Crookston, and then the western reaches of you folks here in Marshall County, Minnesota, and Walsh County, North Dakota, just the eastern half. That's the area where the wind should be the strongest. But I do think we're going to see some very stout winds tonight, working the way through the James River Valley and the Sisseton Hills. Needless to say, the conditions overnight and into the morning will be rough and tumble. We're not talking about deep snow here. Most of the area will get a trace to an inch or less down south, but other areas upwards of 2 inches of snow along the Highway 2 corridor, and the best chance of 1 to 3 inches will be in northwest Minnesota. Factor in the winds and traffic and travel. We'll get a little bit on that tricky side as we go through the night. Latest radar, it's moving right through the valley, as we said last night, and the heaviest snow down in eastern South Dakota right now. That pocket could be producing over 1 inch per hour as it slowly makes its way through. Visibility in Gwinner, by the way, 0. Hour by hour forecast details as we track this. We'll have the time of when the wind picks up in your area, from what direction, and what you can expect for Friday and beyond in a minute.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch.
North Dakota child care is absolutely in a crisis, and it's been building for many years.
Dozens of child care providers testified in front of lawmakers in Bismarck today, almost all of them in favor of a bill that would give millions of dollars in funding to daycares across the state.
See, the idea is to help fight the worker shortage and help provide more care and better care for children in North Dakota. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley breaks down our story.
The North Dakota Child Care Action Alliance says there are 10,000 children in the state unable to be cared for due to the drastic shortage of providers.
The current climate of early childhood is one of low pay, little to no benefits, and very high turnover. Sounds like just the job you're looking for, isn't it?
If we were able to offer higher pay, offer higher benefits, I think we'd be able to attract more employees. We'd be able to keep the ones that we've got.
Many daycares say they're running on empty, forced to raise rates, cut hours, and cut families in order to keep their doors open.
And that was the last thing that we wanted to do.
Laverdure says 1,400 childcare workers are needed to fulfill the gap in the state. And she says in order to make that happen, more funding needs to be handed down.
In order to have maximum impact on these most important earliest years, we must have more and better qualified people working with these children.
Laverdure says the way Bill 2301 is written now, around $37 million of funding would go out if passed. However, many who testified Thursday say they feel that amount should hover closer to $150 million.
Looking ahead, if you really want to attract new operators to the business, if you really want to attract new employees to the business, you're going to have to fund this at a higher level.
These are our kids, and if we're not going to focus on it and dedicate resources and time, who will?
Laverdure says the bill's passing means those who left the workforce to stay home with their child would finally be able to return, saying Bill 2103 is for more than just parents and daycares, but for the benefit of everyone in North Dakota. Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
If the bill is passed, it would become law in August. However, at this time, it's still unclear when those funds would be distributed or how much each center would receive.
Now to an update on a story we've been following for over a year. These just in, North Dakota Attorney General Drew Wrigley has settled a lawsuit with former photography studio Glosser Images, which shut down in October of 2021.
Complaints were filed against the company by hundreds of customers claiming Glosser wrongfully used company funds to finance their personal lives, while the photography studio says they did everything they could to continue to serve their clients. No word on the terms of the settlement.
Earlier this afternoon, fire crews responded to a house fire in South Fargo. They say when they arrived, smoke and flames could be seen coming from a garage. Firefighters were quickly able to extinguish the flames before it spread to any nearby homes. They say no one was inside at the time. The damage is estimated at $10,000 to $15,000.
A man was found dead along with a 4-month-old after authorities say a fire was intentionally set in Sartell, Minnesota. Authorities have identified the bodies as 24-year-old Caleb Clark and 4-month-old Hazel Clark. They say Caleb died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound, and Hazel's death is being investigated as a homicide. Investigators say the two had just moved to Sartell from Grand Forks. A Red Wing, Minnesota woman has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for a cold case dating back 20 years. 50-year-old Jennifer Matter has been arrested after admitting to leaving her newborn to die by the Mississippi River in 2003. Matter told investigators she didn't realize she was pregnant, had been drinking, and gave birth in her bathroom. She claimed the baby was stillborn and dumped the body at night. Prosecutors say DNA evidence also links Matter to a baby girl found by the Mississippi 4 years earlier, but no charges have been filed. Investigators credit advancements in DNA technology in helping them solve the case.
More than 1,700 citations were issued during the Click It or Ticket campaign in North Dakota between November 1st and December 15th. Out of those, more than 650 were drivers cited for not wearing their seatbelt. Roughly 24 citations given for improper child restraints. Over 700 tickets issued for speeding. Law enforcement say preliminary data for 2022 shows 65% of vehicle deaths in North Dakota were the result of someone not wearing a seatbelt. Still to come on Valley News Live at 6, a local North Dakota girl will compete in the junior version of the Bear Grease this weekend. We'll hear her story coming up.
Snow moving through the valley right now, reducing visibilities from at times 0 near Oaks to 1/4 mile. Now, the snow won't last all night, but the wind really increases. Blizzard warnings in effect, winter weather advisories in effect. Your forecast right after this.
This is Valley News Live.